one of the most powerful things I think I've heard you say that I agree with at a very deep level, experientially, personally, and with others, watching people move through this unbinding process. I'm gonna paraphrase what you said, but essentially what you said was, in your opinion, one of the things that really holds people up or prevents them from the deeper stages of, let's call it, realization, is actually an inability or maybe an unwillingness to go through the really deep emotion material, emotion body. And then you kind of led or invited people to actually come up and do it with you, going right through the bottom of, and you were talking about very specific emotions, helplessness and hopelessness. And I may not be enough in that. Can you maybe in a fresh way, however it comes now, kind of walk us through that a bit, or what that might
Yes,
entail?
well, you know, we recognize in a deep sense that we are inadequate. That's why we're social animals, and we need protection, and we need houses, and we need food. So there are a lot of needs there, and they're based on this inadequacy, but that feels horrible. And so as intelligent beings, we have covered that up, and we recognize how incredible human beings are and the magic of language, and all of that's true, but it's also overlooking this lack. And then people have psychological issues, like they'll say, oh, but I feel so inadequate. And my invitation is to actually in this moment be inadequate, be completely inadequate, because you know that at some true level, that is the absolute truth. You are inadequate. Your form will die. So that's proof that you're inadequate. You won't live forever. You're inadequate as you won't make everybody happy who comes in contact with you. You're inadequate, and you probably won't be the absolute top of your field. So rather than run from that, which we are trained to do because it doesn't feel good, and rather than indulge that in a drama, oh, me and my inadequacy, very soberly can actually open to that. You can actually discover, are there feelings of inadequacy here? It may be some other feeling, helplessness, hopelessness, ugliness, whatever the negative feeling that we have built a structure to avoid, that structure is dismantled, not to indulge the feeling, but to acknowledge it and actually use it as a point of inquiry, that if you are completely and absolutely inadequate or hopeless or helpless in this moment, what is the experience? And not everyone is successful in that, because there's often a fear in experiencing that. So then fear is the inquiry.
Yeah.
Can you open to fear without indulging it, without dramatizing it, and without denying it, without ignoring it? Just open to it, just experience it.
Yeah.
And is it possible to see what's underneath that? What's closer than that?
Okay. We're going to get back to that part for one second. I just want to acknowledge the importance of what you said there. You said it a couple times. You don't overindulge it. Turn it into a dramatic thing or a story or something to get, sympathy or whatever, that can turn into a lot of things. But also don't just pretend it's not there, or
That's right.
try to quote unquote like positive it into something else.
That's right.
So there's a balance there, and there is a middle way for sure with this. And it's to meet it as it is, this aspect of what's happening, and just be okay with it.
Well, you're surrendering your strategies, your evolved human capacity to strategize. You're surrendering that. That's a power. And you're surrendering that power for a moment of true inquiry. And as you just said, and I'll say it again because this is the issue, it is a strategy to avoid it. And it's a strategy to dramatize it. It's a strategy that hopes we'll get rid of it. But when you just surrender, not in defeat, but in openness, surrender and openness, then you can actually discover what its substance is. And the discovery is that it has no substance, that it's only held together by the strategies. And in the willingness to meet it, for it to be there, the monster under the bed, that you meet it, no matter how many times you've been told there's no monster under the bed by all the religions, by all the teachings, you've done it as a mantra. There's no monster under the bed. There's no monster under the bed. You still have to look under the bed before you know for sure. There's, in fact, in reality, no monster under the bed.
It's held together by the strategies. That
Yeah.
is so perfect. It is so true. It's so true. It's the voice that says, "Don't open the door. There's a monster in there." You know, you can't just tell yourself there's no monster in there. You got to go in.
Yeah.
You got to be willing, and open. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, it's what grace that there's someone telling you, look under the bed. That's, you know, Ramana was saying, look into the eye, inquire, who am I? And Papaji is said to me, what do you want? It's like, oh, what do I want? Really want?
Yeah.
And all of that is a way of turning attention back to the source of attention, rather than to objects of attention. If that's not too abstract.
No, I think that's really clear, actually. Yeah. And when someone's able to intuitively know that they're there, they've dropped into this, they're not negotiating anymore. Whatever's at the bottom of that, then what?
Oh, then that, you know, there's the unspeakable revelation of oneself. Then you aren't searching for yourself. You realize that that source of searching was coming from the fulfillment. But because of our socialization, because of our survival drive, legitimate survival drive, legitimate socialization and education, all of that's been covered. But it's covered not with substance, so it can be penetrated immediately in inquiry. Who am I? What do I want? What is here? What is always here? These are questions of inquiry.
The immediate aspect, I love that as well. And it's something Papaji was very good at pointing to. It doesn't take a second to wake up or to stop.
Right.
It doesn't take a half a second. It doesn't take you know, and that just turns it off the mind. There's no they can't be seeking, you know. So what can you not seek? What can never be sought, you know?
That's right. Right.
Yeah.
That's right. There it is.
Yeah. It's so juicy and alive, and you know, but it also it doesn't have to say anything, you know. It's so beautiful.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's so, but what you say, juicy and alive, that's it. There's this freshness of revelation. So you can have a true moment, but that moment can get locked into stone in your mind. And that was the moment. And it's like, so what? What is true now that was true then in that moment? What hasn't moved? So it's a living inquiry rather than enshrining particular moments, as beautiful and as honorable as they are. The freshness of you is right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that the inquiry, that sometimes the question comes up of, isn't inquiry a practice, a doing, a seeking? And I think properly, at first it might feel that way and it might get intertwined with that mental activity. But it properly, what ends up happening is the inquiry becomes so profound and automatic and all encompassing and all engulfing that there's no inquirer anymore. There's just this absolute fascination with nothing but itself in one sense, but not
that's
even
right.
Nothing doesn't even say about any of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and oneself then is everything. Well, Papaji said you go on this journey of inquiry, you drop into that, and no one has ever returned. So it's an endless journey. I mean, that's the cosmos, you know. We know, like our Milky Way is 100 billion years old, and how much older is
Mm,
the system that it came from? I mean, it's all incomprehensible.
mhm.
And you are that
Yeah.
incomprehensible presence of being. And so the
Mhm.
mind is enriched by this. It's humbled, but enriched. So the mind then is the servant
Mhm.
to this, that it's in its rightful place.
Mhm.
It's serving this life force, this. Of course, I would have to add this, that is what conditioning initially is serving the life force, so that this individual or this group survives. But then that becomes entrenched in what we learn as reality.
Mhm.
Reality is fresh and alive and can't be learned because
Yeah.
it's here right now.
Yeah. Yeah. That I'm curious to see what you say to this idea, not an idea so much, but the influence, I think people, once they start to have more and more discernment about this,
Mm,
to recognize the influence that, say, let's just call it social conditioning has,
mm,
quite strong,
mm,
not
yes.
just out there, but in family systems and even in
Mm,
partnerships.
mm.
Um, how would you recommend somebody navigate that with this being such, in one sense, of such an incredibly solitary process as
Mm,
well?
mm.
I don't know if you have anything to say to that, but
I don't I don't give general recommendations.
Mhm.
I think it's back to trust yourself.
Mhm.
The thing is, certain marriages will split up
Mhm.
and certain jobs will be left, and maybe, or marriages will be stronger
Mhm.
and jobs will be more fulfilling. So it's an unknown.
Mhm.
And the willingness for the unknown is really the challenge of inquiry. Because if you know what the answer is going to be when you inquire, it's not the real answer. It's not fresh.
Mhm.
It's something you've memorized. Oh, life is here. Oh, beingness. And you know the difference. We all know the difference. We equipped to know
Mhm.
the difference, this freshness, this life. So you can be doing the same job you've always been done, but alive in it. Or you will find you have to leave that job. And same with relationship, lifestyle, practice, all of it.
Mhm.
It's just what's true and what's in alignment
Mhm.
with you as this form you are. I mean, how beautiful that we are these unique, short-lived forms that
Mhm.
have at least the experience of choice
Mhm. Mhm.
in many arenas of our lives.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you there. I rarely can give anyone personal advice. Really, it's hard for me to give personal advice when it's this kind of conversation, because even the unknown of that is part of the process of unbinding. Like, you may
Yes.
never know the answer to that, but what can you
Yeah,
find here that isn't even moved by that, and that doesn't,
that's it.
so
Oh, that's it. That's
yeah.
beautiful.
Um, Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about what you have on offer now. I know that your
Mm.
organization can be found at gangaji.org.
Let me
True?
spell that for people.
Please.
GANGAJI.org.
Okay,
Yeah, the website has everything. It knows much more than I know about what's coming up. We
wonderful.
do have our final Fallen Leaf retreat that will be the end of May, or I'm not sure the dates, but sometime in May at Fallen Leaf Lake in Lake
Okay.
Tahoe area. So that's a beautiful retreat, but it's just become too hard on my body with the altitude. And
Mm,
so we're ending that. And then, yeah, we're starting to play with opening up for more physical meetings here in Ashland. There's, we have a meeting space, but the website is up to date. And that's what I consult when I want to find out what's
Okay,
happening.
perfect. So the first link under this video will be gangaji.org with the correct spelling. So anyone can click on that. I just looked at your page before we came, and it's
Ah,
you can easily follow where to find things. There's plenty of online retreats I would
mm,
recommend. I
mm,
highly recommend this to anyone for sure.
mm. Yeah.
They're going to get a lot out of it. So, or well, they're going to get nothing out of it, and that
And
will be a
that's a lot.
wonderful surprise.
Yeah,
Hell, that is more than you can ever imagine. So,
that's the truth. Oh, you're so beautiful. I'm really happy to connect with you. closely
too.
like this.
I only regret we can't hold hands through the screen while we speak, but that's
But we
okay.
like,
It
oh, this is
really,
what I've been taught. Yeah.
all right. There
Yeah, that's right.
So there we go. Love it. Okay, Gangaji, it's been absolutely a pleasure. I want to just, on behalf of everyone who's benefited from your whatever this is for the last 30 some years, thank you so much. Very prominent teachers and very deeply and realized amazing human beings have benefited from your direct contact with you that I know of. So,
I'm so happy.
and you still do it. I love it. You're still there, and you're just a gem of a resource. You have plenty of free online videos, and you have these retreats. And I just hope people utilize your resources while they can. So,
thank you. It's been so beautiful being here with you like this. Thank you.
I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.